That was horrible. Not horrible, but it wasn't good. That was 7 off my record. I I was an 8th grader now, and I was still right where 7th grade me was. How? How was this possible? I was thinking to myself. Second Pacers, I got 110. I beat my personal record, and it was so awesome. But I was thinking, I've still got 15 to go to get that school record I wanted. So that was very nerve-wracking for me. Then third Pacers, I got pulled out at 80 because I told my gym teacher that I wasn't feeling the best, and he completely understood, and he pulled me out, and he was like, "Save your legs, okay? Only run don't run your highest." But thing is, I was wrong about myself. I actually felt really good that day, and I got to 80, and I was like, you know what? I'm gonna stick in this. I'm gonna go to break my record and attempt to break the school record. Maybe. Because that's how good I felt that day. But I didn't know for sure because I got out at 80. So the last Pacers was left at a blank. I didn't know, and I was hoping, but I didn't know if I knew I would do better, okay? But I didn't know how much I'd do better. I didn't know if I'd improve by a little bit. If I was just thinking 80 was easier because I got out earlier, or if I could actually beat the school record with how I felt. And at that moment, I was in track, so that doubled my conditioning and made me way better. So the moment came for the final Pacers, and I got cliffhanger. Yes, I'm doing this. So now moving on to track. So I started out track, same attitude as cross country. I'm an 8th grader. This is my last year, except this is my last season. So track, I started out really wanting to be that number 1 distance guy, but turns out this was Braden's dominant season. Just by a little bit though, because on the 800 meter, we both tied, well not tied, we both got a 2:23, and he was ahead of me by maybe a few milliseconds. The mile time trials, I actually did beat him on that. I got 5:15. He got in the 5:20s early, I think. And then we also did the 4x4 relay team. So, like I said, I did the 400, and I really liked it. I started out at 106. No. I actually ran that 800 and I got a 106. Very surprisingly, I PR'd on a 400 meter while running double that distance. Just goes to show how much you could improve on that race. So I went to a 104, which was awesome for me. And I was very excited. So those were my time trials. And no, nothing held me back, just like cross country in the 8th grade. 8th grade was pretty much my lucky year. And my grades got way better. And I'll explain it after I talk about track. Then I'll get to the final Pacers and summer cross this year. So first first track meet and second. I was in it, but I wasn't doing the best. PE was doing a lot of wear and tear on me to where track was more difficult. But my PE teacher was like, you know what? Well, PE is a grade, dude, and you. His name was actually Mr. Davies. Oh, I put David. Whatever. Davies, I think. So Davies, he pretty much told me like track's not a grade and PE is, so he couldn't let me get he couldn't let me give less effort in PE. He still expected my best. So that did a lot of wear and tear on me. And my first and second meet, I was way off my times. First meet, I was like 20 seconds off. I was like 20 seconds off of my mile time, and like 10 seconds off of my half mile time. And here's something quite awesome. I mean, it's not awesome, but at the same time it is. So, I'll get to this in just a minute. Second race, 10 seconds off for my mile, 5 for my half mile. It was just a little bit better. And the second race, for the mile, Braden didn't run it because he was feeling a little bit sick that day. So I was the only mile runner for that day, and it sucked because I got third place. And you're probably thinking, that's not bad. But it is bad when another middle school, Lone Star, had 2 runners ahead of you and 2 behind you. They had 4 runners right around where I was. That was not good because they had their 4 runners get there before any other team's number 1 person besides me. That's not good. But the 800, Braden did run because he was feeling a little bit better, and we got, I think, the same time or close. Yeah, we got the same time. He was a little bit ahead of me. That 800, we both got first and second. A duo. Like I said later, Braden and I are the duo for track this season. So, the duo, me and Braden, we'd always finish like right by each other. And I don't think we had a single race where there was a guy in between us. That's okay. The first race on the mile, actually, there was one guy in between us. But other than that, we've always been neck and neck with each other every single race and right by each other. No one in between us. So, that first meet, this is probably why the half mile was quite a bit slower. Okay, so at like the 350 mark, Braden and I were the leaders. I was right behind him, and well, being tired, you're maybe a little bit more clumsy. And I came across the track, and I tripped over his shoe. So, this was not good because he actually, he wasn't mad. That makes him look mad. So, he lost his shoe. Okay, had to run the rest of the race with only one shoe. and with his sock pretty much. So he could only run with one shoe. And me, well, I tripped over it, so I plummeted, and I quickly got back up there because there was a heat, or there was a huge pack of runners right behind us. So my adrenaline rushed, and probably his a little bit too. Funny thing is, when I tripped over his shoe, he actually looked back at me and he smiled and he was like, "Dude, my shoe." And we joke around a lot, but he just kind of thought that was like the most silly thing ever, that I tripped over his shoe. So we still finished first and second for that race, even though we both had an incident. That was very awesome. So, third race. This actually went very well for me. I think I have a thing for the South Nampa track. So, third meet, South Nampa, and now thinking of South Nampa, now I'm going to talk about Coach Hughes. For like the whole season, she went by Donahue, but for reasons that I will not explain, she went back to Hughes. So, Hughes is an amazing coach. Okay, I've only had her for this one season, and she's new to the school too, as a teacher and coach. This is her first season coaching, and to be honest, like a lot of people were super nervous for her, and they didn't know if she'd be a good coach. Some people even were like, you know what, we're not going to do distance because, well, it's not Oni, and we don't trust a first-year coach, which was kind of rude, but everything actually worked out very well. Coach Hughes was so amazing. She coached us just perfectly, and she did as well as a job as Oni could have done, or better. That's how good she was. And she actually ran in college, which was awesome because, well, if you could make it to run in college, you have to be very good. And she was a very good runner. At one point, her fastest mile was 5 minutes flat. Yet she's like a half marathon runner. It's like 5Ks, and she's like a super distance runner. But her mile is 5 minutes. That's really good. And something that I really appreciated, every single day, at least I'm pretty sure, she'd go up to most of her athletes that she saw, and she'd ask us almost every single day. I think it was every single day that she was there. She'd ask us how we were feeling. And even though it was something kind of small, that showed that she really did care about how we were feeling, and that she wanted to make sure that everything was okay. And she wanted to know that we were okay. And that meant a lot to me. Really. And that's why, even though I've only had her for one season, her, Oni, and Ray are the best coaches and teachers that I have ever had. And just mentors and people in general, they're some of the best people I have ever had. I'm so fortunate I got to have them. I love them, and I love my team. So, now back to the race. like I said, I have a thing for that track. So I did really awesome with Braden, and we actually like were closer because normally I'd have an off race, right? Well, and as you guys saw, I was way off of my time trials. I was fearing that I might not ever, or maybe on like the last meet, I'd catch my time trials. No, this meet we got first and second place for both races. My mile was a 5:14, and my half mile was a 2:22. Beat both of my time trials. And it just so happened to be that meet. And Braden and I tied with on everything. Braden barely beat me by like the smallest amount on the 800, and on the mile, like even the results couldn't tell who won, because like some places it said I was the winner, and then other places it said he was the winner. So we truly don't know who won that, but Braden did barely win the 800. So that was an amazing race for us. He was doing what he should have done, and he was just going up. And me, well, I kind of was like this, but then this race, I was like this. So that was awesome. And now to go into the next race. Valley View invite again with all of our Wintercross friends. And this race was very intense because remember Sam Fish? Yes, he's back. And Sam Fish, I checked his results and he seemed to be slower than he was in cross country. I thought we were going to go in and beat him because our times were faster than his. But turns out he was still the same Sam Fish he was. An outstanding athlete. So, Sam Fish, Braden, and I built up a rivalry. Although friendly rivalry, like always, we built up a rivalry this season. With an evil laugh added to this illustration. Ha 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 ha. So, we had a real rivalry between him. And the first race we had against each other, the Valley View invite for track, which it didn't have all the teams there, like the cross country one, but it did have Valley View, us, and a few others. So, for the mile, it was that whole time Braden, me, and Fish. And it finished Fish, Braden, and me. Then, fourth place, remember Aaron? Yeah, he was a little bit behind me, and he kind of fell behind. He got fourth. No, he was fourth, like the whole entire race. And then, the last 100 meters, someone did what they did best. Ammon. He took the number 4 spot. When we were done with that race, I totally didn't expect that because I have a problem with this. I looked behind myself and Ammon was on 4th. He was actually quite a bit behind us. But things changed. He passed him. And now 3 stages in a row. So, for track, we were doing way better than Valley View. But it was mainly a rivalry between me, Braden, and Fish. Ammon, congrats to him though, because, well, he got 4th place, which is outstanding. Even though he was our number 3 guy, he was amazing. And thing is, Ammon, he may be our number 3 runner, but if he was in any other team besides maybe Valley View, he would have been their number 1 guy. At least most of those other schools. I explained that in one of my other videos titled Sage Meat. I didn't mean to title it that, just I went on a video editor and that's just why I titled it, random title, and I was like, okay, this kind of fits it. And well, it turns out it uploaded like that. So yeah. So then the 800 came. Fish wasn't there. He didn't run it. Aaron did. But once again, Ammon passed him. And it finished Braden, me, and Ammon. Except we were even closer that race. We had a 1 second gap from each of us. .224, 225, 226. So this is how close we were on the 800. So for the mile, it's a duo, me and Braden. For the 800, it's a trio, me, Braden, and Ammon. Now, moving on to districts. It was time to go against Sam Fish again. But this was our final race against him. He wasn't going to go to YMCA's. And because we were very close, and I was kind of off pace that mile. Wait a minute. I was kind of off pace for that mile, the first race, but Braden was right on pace, and he got our last time a 5:14, and Fish got a 5:13. So we were so close to him. We could finally battle it out with him, unlike we could in the track or in the cross country season. And we really wanted that victory against him. Because, well, we were friendly competition and rivals. But then came the mile. And the half mile, we stayed with Sam that whole time. And he really was a ferocious runner for districts. And for districts, it was just the 3 of us again. Okay? No one could step up right by us. We were the 3 main runners. And this illustration I'm drawing is whatever I think of it when... This is what always comes to mind when I think of Braden, Sam Fish, and I. I think of Braden and I as the protagonists, the 2 main protagonists that the villain faces. Okay, and the villain is very strong, and matches our power equally. Well, we match each other's power equally, and we're going against this very hard villain. So, and, well, Sam Fish is the villain. He's not really a villain, but then the antagonist. There we go. So this is what I always think of when I think of us. And we wanted his throne, okay? But he wasn't gonna give up. He wasn't gonna give up his throne so easily. He wanted that first place still, and we wanted it too. So for the mile at districts, Braden, I was pretty sure he was falling behind. He didn't look like he was doing his best, and he was probably giving his best effort, but I think the sickness was kind of getting to him. So he was still in third position, but Sam Fish and I were the two guys at it right then. All the way on, like, even the fourth lap, it was me and Sam Fish. But I couldn't hold on him forever. I tried my hardest to hold on with him, but I just couldn't. I wasn't strong enough. And I was starting to fade away at the last, like, 250 meters or whatever. At the end, I just couldn't have it anymore. And then, right as I started to fall, Braden sped up. And we had an epic showdown. Sam Fish and Braden. Because, well, I was just out of it. But I was still trying my hardest to stay with them as I fell behind, like I thought Braden was doing. But he stepped up. I finished at a 1:11, and Braden finished at a 1, or not a 1:11. I finished at a 5:10. Then, now for the moment of truth. Who won this thing? Between Braden and Fish. They both got a 5:04, except Fish held his throne. He won again. And Braden was so close to him. And then there's me over here, 5'11", fading away. I think I still did awesome that race, though. And I didn't only do those two events. I did the medley and the 4x4 too. And I did pretty good. I got bronze on all 4 of those. Not third place bronze. A fourth, a fifth, and 2/3 for my main 2 events, the mile and half. Then for the medley and the 4x4, I got 4th and 5th, which is really good. Or, yeah, for districts, it's pretty dang good. So, that's how that meet went. Really awesome. And Ammon, on the mile, he actually got 6th place in the whole district. That's what I'm talking about. Okay? If he was lined up against... If Braden and I weren't there, he would be 4th place in the whole district. But he's our number 3 runner. That's how amazing he is. Okay? And top 8 people make points. We were the only team to even get our top 2 runners across before the other teams. But Ammon was awesome, and We got our top 3 runners across before everyone else. I said that weird. So Ammon actually medaled, and on the 800, okay? So the 800 came along. Ammon, sadly, got like 11th. And here's the crappy thing. This, I think, kind of disappointed him because he normally does the passing, right? Well, in the last like 100 meters, 2 or 3 people passed him. So that really got to him. But he did better at YMCA's. So, and so, Sam Fish, remember how he didn't run that last 800? Well, he was this time. For his team, 4 districts, he was running the 800. This was truly our final showdown against him. So, 400 meters in. Now, Sam Fish hasn't ran an 800 in forever, but he still kicks it very good and is awesome at it. So, once again, it's Braden, Fish, and I. Fish, Braden, then me. First place for like a second because I'm trying to pass Sam right here. But then he finally notices that I just took the lead and he snaps into it and takes it back. So, Braden, he really isn't that far back. It's like the 3 of us, less than a second apart on each of these. And then comes the last 100 meters. These are the 2 biggest moments. So, last 100. I'm over here. And I'm so close to Sam Fish. I actually touch his shoe while we're running accidentally. Because, well, I pretty much high-fived his foot while he was striding. And he was striding very hard because right around here, it was me, him, first, second, Braden right behind us. But no, Braden took the lead. Braden was going in for his end push. And Sam Fish jolted out of there. And Braden and him battled it out till someone won and someone got second. And here's the thing. All of us got a 2:17. That's how close it was.